Good morning, millennials. Happy Friday. Happy wedding special extravaganza. I am here with the bride herself, Olivia.
You're really the bride now.
No, you can still be the
I'm
bride.
an old hag. No,
Please,
I'm just kidding.
Please, still be the bride. Welcome to the show.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back from your honeymoon, mini-moon. I know people are taking umbrage with the fact that you took a mini-moon to St. Lucia, so why don't we just address that right off the bat. First of all, how was your trip?
Okay, my trip was fucking awesome. I'm sorry for cursing. It just it needed the F.
I mean, that's the great thing about
Do
the
you know
internet.
what? That was like a time to use it because it was so incredible.
You also curse all the time.
No, I know, but most of the times it's gratuitous, and that time it felt really right.
Agreed.
And so that's why
Okay.
I wanted to call out that I used a curse word because I really needed to. Anyways, my trip was amazing. Zach and I are fully planning to go to Italy, Tel Aviv for our honeymoon, but essentially he was able to carry a few vacation days over into the new year. He's on Wine Reb's bachelor party. So we weren't able to take off a week or more in the beginning of the year. We wanted to get away for a few days. Who knew that January 1st, 2nd are the two most expensive days to travel? So we waited a little bit.
January 1st, I think we all know that. January 2nd, 3rd is the best time.
No,
to
but
travel.
not coming home, going out.
Still, flights.
It
People
just-
might have been in New York for New Year's Eve, and now they're going home to St. Lucia.
Totally. Well, anyways, we decided to go to St. Lucia because it was so freaking reasonable. The flight was amazing. We booked everything on points, thanks to the Traveling Toasters, which is the best group ever, and they just give so many good travel advice and tips. But we booked through Chase Sapphire, and essentially when you book through them, and this is not an ad whatsoever, but you get so many goodies, and they do complimentary upgrades, and they knew it was our honeymoon, and so we lived the luxe life, and we just totally fell into it. It was so random. We booked it happenstance. We're let's just go somewhere we've never been, but that's warm, sunny, beach, drink, food, and it was absolutely incredible. Literally the best trip of my whole life.
That's amazing. And to clarify, it was a mini-moon because of the time you went for.
We were only there for 4 days.
Right, that's not a honeymoon, you guys. So yes, St. Lucia is a honeymoon destination, but your honeymoon should be at least a full week.
I agree. And honestly, I wish I could have taken a honeymoon, and I wish I could have taken a full week. We unfortunately could not, but I'm so grateful for having had the mini-moon because now it's going to be a while till we actually go on our honeymoon, probably end of summer. So something to look forward to, but far away.
Yeah, and if you don't, jury's out. I trust that you guys will take your honeymoon, but a lot of people who wait on their honeymoons wind up never taking them, Claudia and Ben. So
Right.
I think it really is important to have a trip planned for after your wedding, even if it's not the great extravaganza that you originally intended.
Totally,
it to
and
be.
it's also so nice to just get away after all the crazy planning, which we'll obviously talk about. But
Right.
you go from such a high to honestly a little bit of a low because you have nothing to do.
I just can't wait for that low.
And you think
can't wait for it.
and then it's
I
okay,
can't.
now what? So preoccupy yourself with a pina colada on the beach, have a good time, and you're just with your husband in pure and utter bliss with I'll think about anything else in the whole world. It's truly the best feeling ever. Whether it's a honeymoon, a mini-moon, a vacation, a holiday, whatever you freaking want to call it, do it right after your wedding because I think it's so important. It seals it all in.
For sure. And did you get a tan? Because you look tan, but maybe you just put on bronzer.
No, so Jackie,
at the beginning of your makeup process.
which I did, as I always do. But I also did get a tan, but it's probably the first time in my whole life that I didn't get a raging sunburn, which I am.
She's growing up.
Yep. And so did use a little sunblock.
You're a wife
and-
now. You need to use sunblock. You know?
Yeah. No, Zach was very rigorous about the sunblock, and I'm
Thank God.
go away. I just find that I get burnt with sunblock more than just having the first day you burn, and then over time it turns into a tan, and then by the time you leave the vacation, you look fucking awesome.
That's just
That was another
so
important fuck. That's all.
unsafe. Yeah, let them fly.
Well, also-
It's a web show.
But here's the thing. I have more Olivia skin, no pun intended, than you. So if I had your skin complexion, I would 100%. Oh, there goes my earring again.
I thought that was an AirPod that just fell out of your ear.
No, it's been broken.
Oh my
all
God.
morning. And I just wanted to wear it. Okay, well, it's
You're
two pieces.
you're
so.
just casting pearls here
I'll take
on
the
the
earring.
morning toast. That was so weird.
I'll be stylish
I was
and just
are you
wear
wearing
one.
an AirPod? Do you have AirPods?
I don't.
They're amazing.
Here's the thing. I only really want to get them because it's freaking annoying as hell to plug in my charger on my phone, plug in my headphones, and I'm always trying to listen to music, always I never charge my phone, so I struggle. I actually struggled deeply with that on the plane yesterday because I caught up on every single episode of The Toasts in 2019.
What'd you think? Season 2, you mean?
Season 2, yeah. I thought it was fantastic. It was just so funny, and so many things I kind of know just from you guys, but I don't watch the show every day. So divine diversion or what, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what these things are. And then I hear you talking about the allergies, and that's not a divine diversion. And my New Year's resolution is to try to watch as many episodes of The Toast in 2019 as possible, just so I can, like, know what the heck is going on.
She's in tune, you guys. That is an in tune resolution. Well, we have a great show for you today because, of course, we're going to hit you with the past 5 stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite of your morning toast. We're going to ask all the questions that you have for Olivia regarding her wedding, regarding some of the questions that she couldn't answer on the Patreon episode, and just, lessons learned, etc. And then we'll be bringing out Josh from Birch Event Design, who designed your gorgeousness of a wedding.
Thank you.
He designed Claudia's gorgeousness of a wedding, and he will be designing mine. Fingers crossed, gorgeousness of a wedding.
Honestly, fingers crossed, but like you don't even need it because when you're in
For
his
sure,
hands,
but,
like
you just can't.
he's never made anything ugly in his life.
But you just can't jinx yourself like
No,
that.
totally.
So I'm just superstitious and delicious.
Very superstitious.
Speaking of people who are superstitious and delicious, nephew Sneechus has been
Angel Boy
at my house for Nephew's Weekend Out. And I just want to give everyone an update because I feel like everyone's really invested in my story here.
As they should be.
And they've been there since the beginning where Zach wouldn't even let nephew come over and sit in the bathroom on a rug.
Right.
So we've really come so far. He's being a great angel boy. No accidents in the house so far, knock on wood. But it really is so fucking cold outside. Like, I have cracks on my hand from, like, walking him and, like, being outside for so long.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I do it for the nephew.
Well,
We slept in bed together last night. Well, he slept on the bed, like, on the outside of the bed.
Did you sleep on Zach's side, though?
No, he slept straight in the middle. Like, just
lovely.
I was curled up in a ball, but anything for the nephew.
So it's really funny because obviously Zach and Zach are on the Zatchler party in the Bahamas, and apparently there's like cats roaming outside the house, and my Zach is like allergic to everything and allergic to cats and was like panicky, and I wonder how your Zach is handling that given the fact that he also doesn't always like the shedding of the dog.
Oh, but they're just on the outside of the house?
Yeah, but like they were hanging out outside.
Ew. That's weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I honestly haven't spoken to him.
Okay.
When he asked me, how are you doing? I just sent him a picture of me and Theo, and then he's like...
He gets it.
It's also...
But by the way...
That picture that you took of me and Theo yesterday that broke the internet, where it looks like I just gave birth to him, and it's my post-birth hospital shoot.
Yeah.
It's just so precious and really just sums up the essence of NWO.
Well, to give a little context behind the photo, he was really into the shoot. Like, you weren't like holding his face or whatnot. He had picked his head up like that and was just like loving on you so. And we just captured a beautiful moment. We were like, it was not staged whatsoever.
No, it's true because he doesn't pose for photos that he doesn't want to be in. Like, there are some photos of him with people where he looks like so angry.
No, totally. He has a very dynamic face.
He does. Very expressive.
Yeah. He doesn't need any like Botox or anything because he, I think, like injects himself, with Fichemin style.
Of course, he's using his own medicine. He's self-medicating.
Totally.
So we're going into the weekend together. I'm a little worried because you know that I love sleep more than anything, and he really is kind of like I don't think I'll be able to sleep until 2:00 like I love to do, and like I really haven't slept well in a while, and I'm starting to break out, and I just know it's because of lack of sleep. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Well, 2 pieces of advice on that. 1, yes, he will wake you up, but then you will go back to sleep. 2, and this is what I tried to start doing before my wedding, is drink like half your body weight in ounces of water every day.
I know.
I know you don't want to hear that.
No,
and I certainly did.
But I already drink a lot of water.
Drink more.
I know, but I drink a lot.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for the fast 5 stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast? I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready. I feel like a lot of things are going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of different stories that are brewing. So a couple of our stories today are stories that are updates on stories we've been talking about all week. The first story, though, Lindsay Lohan denies Jax Taylor hookup. Okay, so Lindsay Lohan was on Watch What Happens Live with Danielle Staub on Wednesday night. And first I watched her show, and then I watched the episode of Watch What Happens Live. And I have so many thoughts on Lindsay Lohan. But first, Andy played Plead the Fifth with Lindsay, and they asked her like a really... It was a waste of a first question, honestly, and the way that they asked it was like so stupid. They had Lisa Vanderpump make a video for Lindsay saying, "You've hooked up with Jax Taylor. Describe him as a sexual partner in 3 words," which like is lame as hell. But then Lindsay said that she's never met him. So I don't know. This has been like a running story for a while that Jax and Lindsay have hooked up. So this kind of like because he's older, he was really in that Hollywood scene like back in the day. So he's kind of like. One of those, and I could totally see it happening because he's been on the scene for a while. But for her to just burst our bubble like that.
So this is my 2 cents on it. It totally happened. She's a thirst monster. She knew if she said to the contrary, someone like Page Six was going to write it up. And right now she's trying to get promo for her show. So she's just trying to keep her name in the headlines. Listen, we've all read the blinds about her. We know that she has no problem hooking up with everybody under the sun. So she really has no reason to deny
swinging.
this.
Well, here's what I think. I don't think either of them are lying. This is what I think happened. Jax is 20-something in the clubs. Lindsay Lohan's there. They probably made out or something because that's what like hookup means these days. She doesn't have to describe him as a sexual partner like Lisa. Like,
right.
I can't.
He was tender.
They definitely like made out in the club.
Yeah.
And Jax realized he's hooking up with Lindsay Lohan. But Lindsay Lohan is like, I'm hooking up with a bartender in a club. She had no idea. He was, by the way, one, he was Jason back then. Two, I'm sure like this was a crazy time for her. I'm sure she had he was a nobody. So why would she remember him?
Yeah,
is my point.
Very plausible.
So she probably is like, doesn't remember because he was not memorable because she was the star and he was the nobody.
Yes. 100% definitely a possibility. I have not watched her show and I don't plan to, but the only thing that I've heard about it is that it's like the Grecian Vanderpump Rules. And so if you are talking about the star of your biggest competitor show, I just think she's trying to start drama and she's doing it for the press circuit. This is like makes no difference to her whether she or not she hooked up with him. And she is literally just creating a story, in my opinion.
Okay, well, I did watch the show. And yes, it is very much modeled after Vanderpump Rules. But like, it's so weird because I so don't understand her. Because like, for so long, I just thought she like, completely lost her mind. And like, you know, she makes that video of like her trying to like rescue some refugees who like didn't want her. Like, it's just messy as hell.
Yeah.
With her fake accents. And then the show comes out and like, she seems like she kind of, like she knows what she's doing. Like she has a plan. She goes on Watch What Happens Live. She was very like with it, in tune, making jokes. She was like shading Danielle Staub. Like Danielle Staub was the crazy one in the room. And I was like kind of impressed by her, but I had totally written her off, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like she hasn't lost her mind. She seems to be okay. The show is pretty good. The first episode was kind of messy and like I had some issues with it, but it was like the pilot of anything, you know, and it's on MTV, so whatever. But like the cast, it's okay. It has potential. It has potential.
I think she's just weird. Like think about how she grew up. She's like thrown into the limelight. She's like the biggest star of our generation as a kid. And like she just combusted. Like so many of them combusted, not Hillary Duff, but like the path was either Hillary Duff or Lindsay Lohan. I think she's just a weirdo. Like she definitely and probably drinks a lot. I mean, I listened to the Joey episode yesterday where he said he met her at the launch party and like the photo, was that her or was that Dina?
That was her, that she wasn't doing photos. Like
so
she wasn't drinking on the show. I don't know if she was drinking on Watch What Happens Live. I'm not sure if she's sober because like she's had
she runs a bar, right?
Issues before. Yeah, but like sometimes it's like Deacon Claiborne, like owning a bar really got him in control of his alcoholism.
Right. No, totally. I just think that she knows how to create press. She wants to create press around her show, and she's freaking weird.
Yeah.
She's just a weirdo.
It's interesting. I will definitely continue to watch her show, see where it goes, and I've heard really good things about her club. I was watching Daily Pop and Justin said he went to her club when he was in Mykonos and he had the best day of his life.
Really?
So, yeah. So
it
by
looked
the way,
fun as hell, but I did read a blind that it was not going to be open next season.
Oh. Well, maybe it was just for the show then.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
How could you have a bad time in Mykonos?
No, but like some clubs are better than other clubs. And
Totally.
he was like, it's not like he said we were gonna go, you know, have a drink, LOL, like
Right,
it's Lindsay
and he
Lohan's
had a
club.
great time.
And he had a great time. So
Like how people go to Sir and Pump and
and then they have the night of their lives. Okay, next up in today's update of R. Kelly news, since the documentary has come out, two important updates. First, I saw this story and I just had to share because it's just sickening. R. Kelly's streams increase after docu-series alleges abuse. Nielsen Music says streaming numbers for R. Kelly have nearly doubled after a recent documentary accused the R&B singer of sexual misconduct involving women and underage girls. The Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly detailed abuse allegations against R. Kelly in 6 episodes, but the singer's streaming numbers grew significantly during and after the series. His music streamed 870,000 times on January 2nd, the day before the premiere, but Nielsen said Thursday Kelly's music garnered nearly 1.73 million streams after the 6th episode aired on January 6th. I mean, this is deeply upsetting. I guess technically it makes sense because if you're watching the documentary, they talk a lot about his songs and how they spoke to the era and the state of mind that he was in. So someone might go and listen to that song. They also talk about songs, this was the best song he ever wrote, or this was the worst song. So they might go be listening, one, to hear the lyrics again, like listen to I Admit and listen to all the lyrics or Trapped in the Closet, to give some sort of context to the time as everything was happening.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even remember that he sang I Believe I Could Fly. So I feel like I would have been one of those people who went to Spotify to just look at what he sang, but that's part of the problem. Why is he still on Spotify? He should be removed from Spotify. He should be removed from YouTube. He should be removed from iTunes. There's so many problems with this, and I haven't seen it, and I almost feel like I don't have to see it because what we're seeing right now is this is systematic, right? It's happening every which way. The fact that Bohemian Rhapsody won a Golden Globe for Best Picture when Bryan Singer was the director and has horrible allegations against him, number one. Number two, was fired from the movie literally at 90% of it being completed, but that's not the point.
Well, that's better than him,
But that's not a film that should then be awarded accolades, in my opinion. That's the problem with everything. Well, there's so many problems. I wouldn't say this is the biggest one, but you're just continuing to fuel the fire. I heard that there's going to be this huge banner poster flying over the RCA Records office in LA, mute R. Kelly.
There should be.
Take down his music. Take down anything that is a revenue generator for him. All of these companies, all of these brands are always taking a stand, and they always have opinions on everything, and they make commercials and this, that, and drop this one and that one, cancel culture, period. But when it comes to these horrible offenders, nobody is canceling them.
Right. But here's the thing. It's a two-way street because one, yes, he shouldn't be on Spotify and streaming services and he shouldn't be able to make money from his music anymore. But it's also on us. Well, not me because I didn't go listen to his music after watching the documentary.
I didn't either.
But it's on the people. The people are keeping him in business. The people are listening to his music. Okay, say they take him off of Spotify. He put up I Admit on SoundCloud. Anyone can upload anything to SoundCloud, and if people go and listen to it, you are the problem. So it is the powers that be, 1,000%.
Agreed.
And they've been protecting him, and they can do more to cancel him. But it's also the people who went to his show 2 nights ago in Chicago.
Agreed.
Sold out, people
Agreed.
waiting lines down the streets.
Agreed. But also, one, I 1,000,000% agree with you, but there's also 2 different types of people. There's media elites that dictate how we should feel about everything, how we should think about everything, and then there's just pure fans who maybe live in their own bubble. And so I feel from the higher ups who are always telling us what we should think about things and what's the best movie and this, that. People are so concerned about Kevin Hart not hosting the Oscars. I really think that we should be focusing on those people who are so fixated on that should be focused on this.
Right, the people who are worried about canceling Kevin Hart for things that he said versus R. Kelly for things that he did and hurt so many people.
Things that he is doing.
Right.
Doing.
There's a difference between saying something and doing and hurting someone.
1,000,000%.
And people don't seem to understand that.
No, but here's the thing. And even if we want to equate the two, then treat both equally. If you cancel one, cancel the other.
No, it's so crazy.
No, I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying it's so hypocritical.
Yeah, but then, okay, here's, Kevin Hart has a movie coming out today, the Bryan Cranston one that looks so good. I heard it is a Miramax film. Thoughts?
Well,
Miramax is Harvey Weinstein's company. Let me just double check.
Well, it is Harvey Weinstein's company, but what I would say is, it's so fishy. Was it sold and who runs it now? And are the people in charge decent?
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, you could say that about the other side, right? Bohemian Rhapsody was produced by 20th Century Fox. Fox is ginormous conglomerate, right? I don't know.
I'm just going to double check on that, but I heard it on Daily Pop, and they have to fact check their sources too.
No, I believe that that's true. It's just more so, did they start the production of the movie with Harvey Weinstein in power at Miramax? If they did, in my opinion, that movie's canceled. If they didn't, and this business that employs thousands of people who work in entertainment, who love their job and love the industry that they're in, thankfully get a new life after that bastard was kicked out, great. If they're making a great movie, I can get behind that.
Okay, this is what IMDb says. Although the film was originally developed and produced by the Weinstein Company and still credited as such in the version of the film that originally premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2017, the company's and Harvey Weinstein's credits as executive producer do not appear in the theatrical version due to the bankruptcy of the company and the sale of the film to STX Entertainment. Okay, so Harvey Weinstein made the movie, and then he sold it.
But he made the movie prior to these allegations? Like, this is, not that I'm not trying to equivocate, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people worked with Harvey Weinstein before it came out that he was a bad man.
Just saying. Honestly.
I hear you.
Like, why does Harvey Weinstein have to ruin a good movie? Like, I still want to see the movie.
I mean, he ruined many a good movie.
I know.
He made everything.
For sure. And if we don't see, I don't know.
And you know that there's like a whole, I don't know if it's part of
he sold it, so even if you go see it, it's not money in his pocket.
Right, but if you read the blinds when it comes to award seasons and Harvey Weinstein, he used to like, literally everybody who ever won an award at award season in the last like 10, 15 years, like was significantly paid off by Harvey Weinstein, or there was huge campaigns around it. He was like a machine. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, let's just cancel these fucking award shows. They're such garbage.
I mean, they're such garbage. And like,
garbage.
They're still like, everyone used to thank Harvey Weinstein in their speeches, and now, you know, those haven't aged well. But even the speeches that people are doing now, this year, last year, and the people in the crowds who are like, when they're, you know, up there talking about, you know, getting the industry to not be like Satan's den, there are people in the audience who have been accused of such things, and if you read blinds, do those things.
Right.
So it's just so hypocritical.
And then they just sit right there, like smiling, and they're welcomed with open arms, and they win awards, and they get front row seats, and it's garbage.
Yeah. Who, do you have someone in mind that you're thinking of? So you don't have to say, because
I don't particularly.
It's technically slander.
I don't particularly, because to be honest with you, I have not been able to get over that Bohemian Rhapsody won Best Picture at the Golden Globes. Like, that is so vile to me. I can't even begin. And I feel bad for everybody, Rami Malek, and everybody who worked on the movie, who's probably a lovely person, but my God,
Mike Myers,
take a freaking stand.
Justice for Mike Myers. Where is he? I miss him.
He's around.
Ish.
Ish.
He took a really long break, and like no one's wondering where he is.
Yeah,
but then he showed up in Bohemian Rhapsody. I love him so much.
Oh, did he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like you would. Do you have an Austin Powers poster in your apartment?
Yeah, we have a signed Austin Powers poster. Yeah. We bought it when we were drunk, stuff. And then it like arrived. I was like, that was stupid, but it's kind of cute.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
No, by the way, I really like it. Like, I remember it. And I'm like, don't you have that?
It's memorable, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, second part of the R. Kelly update is that his daughter has released a statement, condemns him as a monster amid allegations. Buku Abi, the estranged daughter of R. Kelly, is speaking out amid allegations against her father. Taking to her Instagram story, she wrote, Buku here. I just want to say a few things. Before I start, I just want it to be known that I'm speaking from the heart. Nothing I say or do not say is to hurt any party reading this or affected by this. To the people that feel I should be speaking up / against everything that is going on right now, I just want you all to understand that devastated is an understatement for all that I feel currently. I do apologize if my silence to all that is happening comes off as careless. That is my last intention. I pray for all the families and women who have been affected by my father's actions. Trust, I have been deeply affected by all of this. Yeah. So the statement is longer, but you know, she's obviously
I can't even begin to imagine what that girl has been through. So
that family, that mom and the kids, like.
And to be honest with you, I haven't seen the documentary, so I don't really know that much. But you know, they're estranged for a reason, and I'll leave it at that.
For sure.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone was, you know, blaming. Everyone wants like place blame on everyone except the person himself. You know.
Right.
Like, oh, where were you? Where was he?
Where was he? Yeah.
Okay. Next story. Just is similar to the R. Kelly drums. Michael Jackson's estate slams documentary about his accusers. So there is a film called Leaving Neverland, which will premiere at the Sundance Film Festival later this month. It tells the story of two men now in their 30s who had long-running relationships with the king of pop at ages 7 and 10. The late star's estate blasted the film as, quote, yet another lurid production in a statement Wednesday. This so-called documentary is just another rehash of dated and discredited allegations. It's baffling why any credible filmmaker would involve himself with this project, the statement said. I mean, this documentary is long overdue.
Yes.
I look forward to another documentary coming out here serving up justice, even though, you know, it's posthumous justice. I hope there are a lot of people involved in what was going on with Michael Jackson, Neverland, a lot of creeps who are still working today. So I hope that this documentary sheds light on what did happen
Is
But-
Macaulay Culkin in the movie?
Um,
There's especially a lot of blinds about this too, but like Macaulay
saw that
Culkin
blind.
he's the only person we need to hear from.
well, I just hope that this documentary like sort of exposes more people who are still doing horrible things and still working today, you know? So that we can do like, so that
So
we're
they
not,
can be
so not
canceled.
everything is in hindsight, you know, like, oh, it's easy for all of us to like talk shit when someone's dead, but like do
Right.
something about it, fire someone.
Totally. I totally agree.
So will be the first one in line watching this documentary and any others
I mean,
that
anybody
people want to make.
Any documentarian, I think that's the word, that wants to essentially put themselves out there to create documentaries or docu-series like this that are maybe kind of like unpopular, difficult, will get a ton of backlash from fans and all. I stand behind you 100%.
Totally. Tell the stories. We're listening. Okay, next update of a story that we've been talking about all week is the woman in a coma who gave
Jackie,
birth.
I was in an Uber at 5:30 in the morning, going to St. Lucia on my mini moon, and I was like on my phone, I turned to Zach, I'm like, do you want to hear the weirdest freaking story? And I literally read the whole article to him, and we were so confused, and then like, it was in the sisters chat a couple hours later when everybody woke up, and I was like, I literally have not stopped talking about this story. There's so many things about it that we can talk about it all day long.
It's so sickening, but here's the latest update. Woman in coma who gave birth had been in nursing facility since she was a toddler, according to court docs. The woman in a vegetative state who gave birth to a baby boy on December 29th has been at the Phoenix-based nursing facility since she was a toddler, People confirms. Records obtained from Maricopa County Superior Court state the woman has been a resident of the facility run by Hacienda Healthcare for more than 27 years, nearly double the length of time that appeared in previous reports. The patient, who has been identified as a 29-year-old Native American, has been under the care of the facility since she was between the ages of 2 and 3, according to court documents, which also state that the woman suffers from quadriplegia, recurrent pneumonia, and a seizure disorder.
Right.
Quote, she lacks sufficient understanding and mental capacity to make decisions or give consents for her medical placement or financial estate. Also, I had read that there hadn't been a doctor hadn't checked on her,
Ooh.
a doctor hadn't checked on her in 8 months, which is why they did not know she was pregnant.
1, sickening, disgusting. 2, I had heard that, I guess as a toddler, maybe she drowned. And I think that was the reason for her being in a coma. And I also think that the aspect that she is Native American is so interesting because typically, I mean, not typically, we could have this conversation all day, but if you were in a vegetative state for 27 years, like, would you want to be in a vegetative state for 27 years, right?
Yes,
and
this is
do they have specific, I don't know if there's like either cultural things in the Native American community or otherwise where, you know, just regardless, you just keep the person alive with the hope that, you know, one day something miraculous happens. I wonder, like, because you don't really know the state of that person, but like, has she been in pain for 27 years? Like,
right.
All of these crazy things. So I can imagine being pregnant and being in a vegetative state was incredibly painful. And I don't know.
I don't know.
But her family didn't visit her for 8 months? Apparently the facility that she's at is like 100+ miles away from where she's from. I read that it's somewhere. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it's in Phoenix.
And they don't live there.
Her family, I think, lives further away, which is maybe why they don't come to visit as often, because it's just a further drive.
Yeah. I mean, 27 years of visiting, you might go 8 months.
Right. And also, I'm assuming that's extremely expensive, 27 years of care.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not caring for her, which is horrendous.
Right. They should
but
be refunded.
Somebody is paying. Is that taxpayer dollars? Like,
I mean, her family's probably paying for it.
Yeah.
And they should be refunded.
I agree.
In addition to a lot of other things. Anyways, it's really crazy. The fact that she's been there since she was 2, like, imagine if the person who did it, like, has
I would assume that she has been, I mean, I don't want to make assumptions, but I would assume that she had been assaulted on many occasions.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll continue to update you because this story is vile and
It's such a sick world we live
shocking.
in.
Sick world. Speaking of stories that we've been keeping up with for years now and the sick world that we live in, exclusive, quote, I killed JonBenet Ramsey. Convicted pedophile Gary Oliva has confessed to the murder of 6-year-old pageant princess in prison letters to his friend, claiming it was, quote, an accident. Gary Oliva, 54, has long been a suspect in the murder of JonBenet Ramsey, whose body was found at her home in Boulder, Colorado on December 26, 1996. In letters to high school classmate Michael Vale, obtained by Daily Mail TV, Oliva claims he killed JonBenet by accident. Quote, "I let her slip and her head bashed in half and I watched her die. It was an accident," he wrote from Lyman Correctional Facility, Colorado. Oliva is serving a 10-year sentence for possessing child pornography. When Oliva was arrested in 2016, police discovered he had 335 photos of JonBenet, including photos from the 6-year-old's autopsy. Vale, 55, of Ventura, California, has urged police to charge Oliva for JonBenet's death since Oliva is due for parole in 2020. Chillingly, Vale tells Daily Mail TV that on December 26, 1996, Oliva told him, quote, "I heard a little girl." Investigators believe several men were involved in JonBenet's death, and Vale hopes Oliva will identify them. The incriminating letters have been presented to Boulder police, and murder case investigators are now looking through the new information. This is shocking.
Yeah.
A lot of people have confessed to JonBenet's murder.
Yes.
Has anyone who's actually been a suspect confessed?
So, I don't know, but I want to say a couple things because I knew this was going to be a story, and so I did a little bit of research.
Thank you.
And so a couple of things that are important to note. JonBenet Ramsey's autopsy said that she died from blunt force trauma and asphyxiation, okay? Mm-hmm. Her slipping, okay, bang to the head, fine. The strangling part, don't know where that comes in. Maybe she was being strangled and she slipped. I'm just trying to, deduct here. 1. 2, apparently, they exhumed the body maybe a couple of years ago and have 2 male DNA samples that were not matched to anybody in the family, which I think was when finally the family was cleared. And so I would suspect that they should test this guy's, Gary Oliva's DNA to those samples. However, if he is incarcerated currently, that means that his DNA is in the system, and so it would have come up
there could have been other men there, and then he could have been one of them.
And then why were there other men in the house? Remember, at the end of the day, this was in her own basement.
Right, and everyone was sleeping upstairs. How did all this commotion go down?
And he had pictures of her. I read, and this is conspiracy to the max, but there was a whole thread in one of the Toasters groups about the dad's business. He sold his business to Lockheed Martin, is blah, blah, blah. Whatever. And the point is that some of the people who worked at Lockheed Martin were bad guys and they were part of a pedophilia ring and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, here's what we can deduct. There were multiple men in her home in the basement, and this guy, Gary Oliva, had photos of her. He is probably not the only person to have had photos of her, and she must have been part of some sort of child pornography ring. And I don't know if it was happening in the basement of her house or otherwise, but that, in my opinion, is the only thing I can deduct from the facts, number 1. Number 2, it is important to note, I did not even realize that JonBenet Ramsey died in 1996. Margot Oshry was not even born yet.
I know.
That is incredible.
It was so long
scary.
ago. This is, for some reason, though, I really, I believe, when I read it, I really thought that this was it,
I think this guy definitely had something to do with it. I think there are multiple people involved.
Well, that's a major lead.
100%.
So I hope that, some justice begins to be served from this. A lot of people have confessed, but, they were people who couldn't have even been there, you know? So,
well, it kind of, when I was thinking about just it happening in her basement, it kind of gave me Elizabeth Smart vibes, where the family
had let someone into the house,
right, to do work, and was giving somebody an opportunity, and obviously he was a very bad man and took advantage in a horrible way. But I wonder if this was a similar situation. I wonder if the Ramseys knew Gary Oliva.
I wonder if they're related to Mason Ramsey.
Oh my God.
Plot twist. Also, 3 out of the 5 stories today have been about pedophilia. And I think that is just a sad statement for the world.
It's indicative of where we are.
Especially for a show that really tries to stay above, and light news. It's we can't even get there because there's just so much nastiness going on in the world. That is so sickening. 3 out of 5 were about pedophilia, and then the 4 out of 5 were about assault.
Yes, and what I was surprised that you did not have as a story, so I will say is a complimentary sixth one, is that Tim Tebow is engaged.
I know, but then it's like, I almost did it.
Because it's just like so random at that point, you know?
But what is there to say? Like, congrats, like, I hope you enjoy losing your virginity, and, like, go forth and prosper.
Totally, and she's very pretty, and the pictures were lovely, and it definitely gives me like a little bit of like a Priyanka Nick vibe in terms of same photos, similar caption, very staged. But you know what? I'm here for everybody's happiness, so power to you.
I'm definitely here for the happiness of Tim Tebow. He really deserves it. You know, he's like really can't catch a break these days.
Can't catch a break. This obviously seems to be the break.
Actually, he does sports reporting, right?
I mean, he was in the NFL, then I think he was in the MLB, then he wrote a
league.
book. I think he does a lot of charitable work. He's just a lovely human being from what I can garner about him, and is extremely good looking, so.
Yes, I mean, you guys know that I love him, so
Yes.
we'll leave it at that. I'm happy for you. You know, I found my own happiness, so I'm happy for you, and, you know, maybe see you at the Super Bowl. Okay, now for a little lighter news. I just can't and I shan't. Next week just has to be, like, happier. You know, these heavy subjects, it's a lot to start your day with.
You
It's
guys
like,
could,
what's the
like,
point?
totally do, like, the Onion type vibe, where you, like, make up fake stories that are, like, so hilarious and outrageous, you know?
That'd be so funny.
Yeah.
Except we don't even have to, because the world is, like, just
Or you
so
could do it on
outrageous.
April Fool's Day. Like, just do one whole episode of, like, you know.
Fake stories, fake news.
Fake news.
Okay, now we're going to get into Q&A with you. We have so many questions for you.
Oh my God, ask away.
The wedding extravaganza. So a few things that I want to touch on that you couldn't talk about during your Patreon episode. What song did you walk down the aisle to? What was your first dance song?
Okay, I walked down the aisle to, I actually shared this on the Patreon, I think, the Hebrew version of Bowie Kala, which is like Here Comes the Bride, to the tune of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, which was very moving. I wanted the ceremony to be really moving. I wanted the music to be moving. Zach walked down the aisle to an instrumental of What a Wonderful World, which is one of his favorite songs, and he does a wonderful Louis Armstrong impression. And then sisters walked down to a musical interlude, or instrumental interlude, I don't know, of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is just a beautiful song that I love. And we had actually started, before anybody even came out, we did like a Hebrew rendition of Lecha Dodi to All of Me by John Legend to really kind of like bridge the English and the Hebrew. We did not have like a lot of people walk. It was just sisters and family, but it was just so lovely and beautiful, and that's exactly what I wanted.
Tell us about your process or your progress with the Live method.
Happily. Okay, so for my wedding, I lost about 48 pounds. I really wanted to hit 50, but it didn't happen for me. And I started working out with the Live method in October. I had just kind of seen on Instagram everybody that went there just looked amazing, but everyone was like so like enjoying the workouts and like they got in really great shape. And I was just like, you know what? I had lost about 20 or so pounds before I went to the Live method, and I knew that I had to kind of like accelerate what I was doing, maybe start working out. I knew if I kind of did it on my own, like try to go to a SoulCycle class, I wouldn't go. I wanted to be held accountable, and that's why I kind of shared the entire journey with everybody, which is extremely not me. Like I would like post videos of me working out in a tank top, and I like have not shown my arms since the 3rd grade. So, you know, I just really kind of started to enjoy like fitness, health, wellness. Matt, who runs a Live method and is my trainer, he put me on a macros plan, and I really focused on like diet, sleep, water, exercise, and really, it's like a combination of like HIIT training and weight training, and like also a lot of like cardio, but not cardio on a machine, cardio like jumping jacks, cardio like burpees and things that I absolutely hate. But
Burpees.
I really saw my body transform so quickly, and I like wanted to keep going. Like I chose to go to class every single weekend, either Saturday or Sunday at 10 or at 11. Like I woke up, I set an alarm every weekend to go to class because I really enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. I'm going back today at 3:30. Like the journey is not over for me. I'm just gonna kind of change it up and do it a little bit differently, just because I don't have as extreme of a goal as I did for my wedding. My next goal is Jackie's wedding, and then from there I'm just gonna kind of set goals all year long. But I put so much effort into getting into the best physical, mental, emotional, literal shape of my life for my wedding that I don't want it to be a one and done. And honestly, I went on my mini moon. I ate and drank everything I wanted. I think it was the first time in my life that I wasn't like mentally on a diet, you know, like usually it's like, oh, I shouldn't eat that, or, you know, oh, I'm, you know, trying to be conscious or trying to be low carb or this, that, and I just like ate to my heart's content. And to be honest with you, I could not wait to come home to just be like clean and healthy again. Like I was so good yesterday, and I woke up today, it's just so much of a better feeling. So I've gained about 5 pounds since the wedding, which, you know what, great. And now here we go again.
I have to talk about your shoes because those are your wedding shoes, and I appreciate you wearing them for the show.
Well, someone wrote in the comments that I should wear my dress, which like was unrealistic,
You
so
guys,
I
we would
wanted to
love
give you a
that.
little something.
Yeah, no, we were thinking like maybe your veil, but this is perfect, and like you look cute and normal. So you wore these shoes for your party. They're
Yes.
the Olivia special.
Yes.
Also look up the businesswoman special. Are you gonna wear them like over this? They're such a great shoe. Like, are you gonna wear them again, or you're just wearing them today, like for the show?
So great question. I have a couple pairs of these Stella McCartney shoes, if not these, some sort of other version of a platform sneaker, which everybody knows. I love these so. I saw them. I was like, oh my God, I have to have them. And Zach wound up buying me them for Hanukkah. I came home one day and like, it was like the Friday before Hanukkah, and he was just so excited to give me them that I opened the box and I was just like overjoyed. I literally slept with them like next to my bed in the weeks leading up to my wedding. I brought them on my mini moon with me. I do plan to wear them. I think that they're more of like a summery shoe, but I definitely want to wear them and will wear them. They're so special to me.
They're super cute. They're a great shoe just for life.
Yeah, they're a great shoe, and I love them. And it's like, oh, so special that Zach got them for me because I love them so much. But you know what else Zach got for me?
What?
We did 23andMe. He bought us 23andMe for Hanukkah. We both were supposed to do it together, and he has not done his yet because he says that it's too hard for him to go 30 minutes without eating or drinking.
It is hard.
I said, do it when you wake up in the morning.
It's like not only do you have to go 30 minutes without eating or drinking, but then you have to like make saliva, and but it's like I'm thirsty.
Right.
Did he go to 23andme.com/toast?
I actually don't know if he
I'm
did.
sure I feel like he did.
I mean, he might have.
So you did it. Did you
I
get
did
your
it.
results?
I got my results.
Would you like to share with the class?
I would. I am 99.6% Ashkenazi.
Okay, so another one who's not adopted or switched in the hospital.
Yep.
So now we just have to do snitch, but I feel like no one is more of a steen than the snitch.
Totally.
And now, but Zach has, I made Zach do it. Mm-hmm. He just got his results back, and as you guys know, I am 100% Ashkenaz Jewish.
Which is so crazy.
Just want to say, like, literally direct descendants of Theo's babushka in Russia. And I made Zach do it because I was like, if you're like 25, like, we have to talk. He is 99% Ashkenaz Jewish, so we're one, definitely related, and two, gonna have just such Ashkenaz Jewish babies, which is just so fun.
Totally.
And if you want to find out where you hail from or your partner hails from, check out 23andMe. 23andMe allows you to go beyond ancestry to access more personal insights based on your DNA, from your health predispositions to your lifestyle choices. So you can get a lactose intolerant report, a caffeine consumption report, I should do that one, a muscle composition report, a genetic weight report. That is so crazy. And you can buy your 23andMe health and ancestry kit today at 23andme.com/toast. That's the number 23andme.com/toast. Again, that's 23andme.com/toast. I recommend that everyone do it. It's really, it's important to know where you come from in order to know where you're going.
So I did the health
You got
and
23andMe.
ancestry
You can
one.
use that line if you need it. All yours.
I did the health and ancestry one, which is so interesting. It just kind of like tells you all these like weird things that you're predisposed to. That, you know, one of them for me was that I'm predisposed to having long earlobes, which like, you know.
Which you do.
I do. It said like the time that I wake up naturally, or that I should wake up, is like 8:42, which to be honest with you for work, like is the time that I wake up literally. That's the time that I get out of bed every day. It's like always like 8:42, 8:43, which is just, there were so many weird things that I was like, damn.
I want to do that.
And then there were some that were nuts that I was like, I don't know about that. But it's good to do genetic testing too. You can see like what you are a variant for, and it just like the fact that you like spit in one thing and then you get all this information about yourself is so interesting.
So interesting. Okay, tell us about the dress.
Okay, the
Where'd
dress.
you get it? What were you looking for? Was it what you expected? The process,
Great.
etc.
So I had never like envisioned myself in anything, and I think that that's just because one, I don't know, my weight was like always fluctuating, and I tend to wear like black and flowy. That's just like my personality, my style, and what I think looks best on me. So we wound up going to David's Bridal to just try on a few different styles because I literally had no idea what I wanted. Do I want poofy? Do I want tight? Do I want this, that, and the other? I knew that I didn't want poofy. That was literally the only thing I knew. But what I wound up realizing was with the weight that I was losing, that something tighter actually looked a lot better. And I knew that I wanted sleeves. Again, haven't shown my arms since the 3rd grade, but also wanted to have, I did have a modest ceremony, and sleeves, like, that's just so my style. I wear everything with sleeves.
Yeah.
So I went to David's Bridal. I found kind of like the style that I liked, and literally my mom found a dress online, or her mom found a dress online and was like, I think this would literally look perfect on you. And I was like, let me try to find out if any store in the city sells these. So the dress is Maury Lee, and Maury Lee does sell in New York, but pretty much every retailer that I called was like, we're not selling that anymore, or we don't sell Maury Lee, we don't sell that dress number, blah, blah, blah. The only place that had it was this place called Arcade Bridal, which is on like 54th and 12th. And essentially, I went there, and I went for that dress. I said, I'm here for this. I'm getting married in 3 months, and I want this dress. I hadn't even tried it on yet, just like had a sneaking suspicion. And basically the woman was like, well, I have brides here for 2021, like pretty much making it seem like I wouldn't be able to get anything. And part of that is because they don't really carry that much in stock, so it does take a couple of months to even get the dress in. And she was basically like, listen, I have the dress, I have it in one size above what you are, and I have it in ivory. Which, after I tried it on, I did try it on in the white, and I actually liked more of an ivory, creamish color better. And I knew that I was going to continue to lose weight, so I was going to have to do alterations regardless, so I didn't mind that it was one size up. And I would honestly always recommend people who think that they're going to lose a fuck ton of weight for their wedding, I would recommend literally going a dress size up. Like, don't go a dress size down the size you think you're going to be, because you can always alter yourself into it versus, like, trying to take seams out. Doesn't work. So went to Arcade Bridal, tried on the dress, the one dress. I was like, this is the one. Knew it from literally a picture on the internet, which is just so crazy. They wound up having it in stock. It came like less than a week later. But they told me that they wouldn't be able to do alterations because there the alterations are like 6 to 9 months out. I mean, this place is like crazy bridalville.
I mean, emphasis on the crazy. Like, can I say what? Like, they were so unhelpful.
Yeah, no, they were.
The fact that like you got what you needed and like they just, it was
they were
not
also,
a
like,
fun place to be.
Yeah.
And it was like,
they weren't very nice.
They weren't nice at all.
Yeah. They wound up being nicer because what happened was, because I was losing a lot of weight, I pretty much went for a dress fitting every 2 weeks. My last fitting was like on December 22nd. It was a 2.5-hour fitting. I tried on the dress, they tailored it. I tried on the dress, they tailored it. It was like 3 different times back and forth because I literally had to get it steamed and get it picked up in order to get it in time for New Year's Eve.
They did a great job. But
they did a great job.
But they weren't nice.
What wound up happening was,
they didn't have any bottles of water, so I got one from the vending machine, and then they said I couldn't
you couldn't
drink
bring
in
it
the store.
They wound up telling, when the dress came in, they were like, do you want alterations? And I was like, well, you told me you couldn't do them. And they're like, no, like, we'll squeeze you in. So it was just like, everything they say they do, they don't do, but I have to say enough good things about them because
the end product is all that matters, and you looked great.
Exactly. And so that is the story behind the dress. So that is the first time that I've shared that my dress is Maury Lee. And I've seen some toasters post that they think that they're wearing the same dress as me. So if you're wearing Maury Lee, we are twins.
So if you could now, being here in this moment, go and give yourself advice the day after you got engaged about wedding planning, what have you learned and what would you tell yourself?
Oh, it's such a hard question. I don't really know. To be honest with you, like, I so enjoyed the process and like loved every second of it. Maybe because mine was very limited stress and quick and fun, and everything about it just wound up working out, thank goodness. The only thing I would say, and a lot of people told me this, so I did try to take advantage of it in the moment, is to just like try to be a bit more in the moment too. Like
At your wedding,
even in like the week leading up to it, and just like realize how special of a moment it is, because that's like a time in your life that is so significant for you, and then you move on to the next phase. Like, you'll never be engaged again, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the best piece of advice I could give. Everybody's different. So for me, I just I loved it.
Question from Ali Mohajer. You're 10 days in. What has been the greatest moment in the last 10 days of being a married woman?
Oh my God, so much. It's like really the best feeling in the whole world, but also doesn't feel any different. Like I can't explain it. It's just like we had the best time together on our trip, but like we always have the best time together, but it was just like so special. Everything just feels like special and exciting and like new and fresh again, but at the same time, nothing's changed. Like I can't explain it. It's like, this is gonna be the weirdest thing I've ever said, but it's like, when you're dating somebody or like even when you're engaged, right? Like you always like, you keep your crazy inside and it's like, you are a lady and you're this and that. And it's like, when you're married, like if you make a little burp, like you're not gonna get divorced. Do you know what I mean? It's like nothing, like unless like something horrific, horrible, terrible, God forbid happens, but like nothing can go wrong. Like in the relationship unless like something drastic happens,
right.
You know? And like, especially in this phase, it's just like you wake up every day and it's like elated, you know?
Yeah.
And I always like, especially in my relationship with Zach, like just woke up like just so happy, but it's like on a whole other level.
Totally. But we have so many questions about the design of your wedding, you know, what went into the planning and orchestrating, and those are really questions for you and Josh. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back from Josh from Birch Event Design, and we'll be asking him all of your logistical related questions about the affair to remember. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Morning Toast Wedding Extravaganza. We are now joined by Josh from Birch Event Designs. You're a one-name wonder. Do you know for so long that we were working together, I didn't know your last name, and I didn't need to.
That's so funny.
You're just Josh, even in my phone. Even my sisters are like Olivia Oshry, Claudia Oshry, and you're just Josh.
Just Josh?
Oh, really? Everybody from Birch is like Josh Birch, Alana Birch, Sarah Birch. Like, you guys don't have last names. And then, like, in the beginning when I was working with the people from Birch, and, like, Alana, who was my day of person, like, messaged DM me on Instagram and, like, had absolutely no clue who she was. Like, her last name.
So funny.
Who is this? Like, I thought it was just a random person, and then, like, I put two and two together, but all of you will forever be saved in my phone as just Birch last name.
That's crazy. Birch has kind of been our identity now. I mean, even my kids call themselves Birch. They want to change their name legally to Birch.
They should, because that's what you are.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
so,
Josh Birch.
Have you ever met his kids?
No, but I've heard you talk about them. You love them.
Love them, and they're like mini Claudia Jackies in the making. I swear to God, it's the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. They have so much spunk and so much like pizzazz and opinion and attitude, and I was like, you have to cultivate that because these kids are gonna be like something someday.
That was verbatim what you said. You're like, you need to cultivate this. I'm like, you cultivate
He's
this.
like, I literally don't know how.
That's an Olivia word.
Cultivate this
businesswoman
now.
special.
That's great.
Well, we're so excited to have you on the show because
Thanks for having me.
you did Olivia's wedding. It was incredible. We have some photos that we are going to show up on the stream. But kind of want to take it back to the beginning because you also designed Claudia's wedding.
Yes.
Beautiful. And we knew you through Claudia.
Yep.
So how did you and Claudia sync up?
I think one of my friends, well, actually it was my partner, Caroline. She was amazing. She called me up. She says, "Girl with no job's getting married. We should do her wedding." And I'm like, "Who's girl with no job?" Sorry, Claudia. We love you. We know you now very well. But at the time, I was just like, "Who's girl with no job?" And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I guess everything." So I jumped in, looked at it, and she's like, "We should do this. We'll get along so well. Our personalities will mesh," which, you know, I'm sure we'll discuss, but that's a huge part of the process, right?
Right.
And then we linked up. Someone reached out to Claudia. Claudia's like, "Sure, I'll give you a shot. Let's meet." We met, and we became besties, I hope.
Yes.
But was that, and that was before we were on a panel together.
That was right. Was it right before we were on a panel?
Right
together?
before.
Like it was
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
I
all
remember
happening
that
around the
panel.
same
Sarah
time.
put us on the panel.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sarah is like behind the scenes over here, and she is like Josh's right hand, and she was my right hand on the day of, and she's like everything. But
She's fantastic.
Josh and I were on a panel together. It was like an entrepreneurship leadership panel.
Jewish entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship, yeah.
And he was like, "Nice to meet you. I'm doing your sister's wedding." I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." And then like at a follow-up meeting a month or two later, I was like, "Hi there, we were on the panel together."
And I barely remembered. I was just like, that was such a blur to me because it was like my first like public thing. And I was just like this the whole time. And I was just like, I wanted to get it over with. And everybody there was so like powerful. And I was like, I'm just like this little guy who does decor.
But now you're a seasoned pro up here on the toast.
Look at me.
Okay,
I
so
love
let's
it.
talk about the decor for your wedding because it was so beautiful. What was the inspiration behind it? How did you guys come to this design motif? And, you know, what were some of the things that you really wanted to highlight and focus on?
Yeah, well, I will say one, the venue itself, Russian Tea Room, is so gorgeous that like, I'll let Josh really talk about the decor stuff, but like so much of it was just like in the fact that we wanted to really just elevate the space and what was there. The only thing that I had sent to Josh was that I wanted like a branchy white chuppah, and that's it. Like I just sent a picture of something that I found on the internet, and I said, "This is the vibe I'm going for the chuppah," and that is literally all I did, and he did everything else.
Thank you. Listen, I mean, one of the biggest things about designing a wedding in general is trying to work with the space. Either you're changing the space or you're working with the space. I think in this case, it was such a dream for you to get married in the Russian Tea Room, and I think that was huge. It's my first time, you know, getting the opportunity to work there. And the room has so much character that to change it would have been such a waste. And then plus it's the character about it that you love so much.
Right.
So all we did was really work with it. We tried to enhance it, tried to make it a little bit more dressed up, a little bit more current, a little bit more you guys, young and in love. And I think we did a pretty decent job.
I think so too.
And your ceremony came out pretty crazy.
Crazy.
Favorite moment of the day, by the way.
Crazy. What are your thoughts on a New Year's wedding? Had you ever done one before?
So not New Year's wedding. I've done a lot of New Year's parties, but the wedding aspect was actually kind of fun. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, isn't that terrible? You're not gonna have plans?" I'm like, "What do you mean? These are the best plans." First of all, hanging out with you gals was like, whoa, the family's so fun. The whole crowd was fun. I mean, it was popping. That party was popping, but it was great. It was a great event, and I was so happy to be there. I mean,
Yes.
it was fun.
So you do a lot of New York City weddings. What are
Yes.
some of your favorite spaces to work at in the city? What do you look for when looking for a venue? Because there's the Russian Tea Room, which really is almost turnkey,
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
term they use.
Yep.
But then you also do a lot of like loft studio spaces that you completely
Correct.
transform. So what do you think is the ideal scenario?
So I think it really does depend on the couple. For us specifically, we're always looking for something that works well for you. So there are some people who want to get married in your very iconic places like the Plaza, the Pierre, what used to be the Waldorf, the New York Hilton. You have all these amazing places in New York, and they have tons of character, and you sort of embrace that, and you go with that old world elegance and that ambiance and old world flowers, or you have the loft spaces, which are super cool too, and that from our perspective is like, let's transform. Like, we're down to change carpets and drape walls and create new spaces and hang chandeliers. I mean, we've discussed all this stuff before, and it was just like, it really does depend on the couple. That's really what it comes down to, because we could do anything.
What are some big trends for weddings this year that you're seeing? And what are some wedding trends that you don't like, that
Oh, boy.
you think people will regret?
Ooh, regret. Okay, wow. I'll start with the first one, 'cause it's probably easier. Trends for this coming year, I think what people are doing now is they're looking a lot more for experiences in their weddings. So it's not just about, putting beautiful flowers on the table and calling it a day. I mean, one of the biggest conversations we had was like even just about the cloth, right? I don't obsess about cloths, but I'm not willing to sit back sometimes and say, hey, let's just use venue cloth because that's what they have, because that really made it transformative. If you
Right.
remember back to our first conversation, where it's like, okay, maybe we'll do cream and then we'll just embrace it and work with it. And we're like, no, let's go heavy. Let's go hard. And
Yeah.
let's drive
You
this.
pushed for it,
Yeah,
and you were right.
Thanks. I love being right.
It's
Not
such
always
a good
right.
feeling,
it's such
isn't
a good
it?
feeling. It's such a good feeling. Not always right. So like that's a good thing too. But like the idea is that sometimes you want to give the guests a full immersive experience. That's really what it comes down to. So by your wedding specifically, we had this whole idea of the ceremony and the dinner was in the same room. So what happened was all the guests left, and then it came back to something that was completely different and transformative, which is what made it amazing. And I think that's trending going forward as well. People are looking for new experiences in their weddings, whether it's bringing entertainment, whether it's getting a cooler band, whether it's having some amazing wall behind the band or some ceiling treatment that people aren't used to seeing. It's all about the experience now. Mm-hmm. That's a huge trend. One of the things that I think I'm not liking as much, don't hate me for this, but it's like there's a lot of this organicness that's happening, and I'm feeling like it's slightly going a little bit more old world.
Organicness, what do you mean?
What I mean is like you have a lot of these natural designs, right? Everyone's bringing these woods, which are really great,
like
and sort
succulents?
of like succulents, and it works in certain spaces. But I think when you go into a New York City venue, which is harder when it's a lot more opulent, the idea of getting a nicer space and going less on decor doesn't really translate as well as people think it is.
I think it's the Pinterest effect.
There it is.
Everything looks so good on Pinterest,
Yep.
like all of these outdoor weddings.
Yep.
But if you're getting married at the Plaza, like you don't put a succulent in there.
No,
Right.
but people would. So I'm saying like that bride should not choose that venue.
Yes.
That's the one thing that I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm against organic weddings. I like them. I do them. It's not the ideal situation for a New York City wedding.
It's not the vibe.
No, I would say no.
So Olivia, a lot of the toasters have been, shook to the core. Olivia got married and engaged and married 3 months.
Love
you planned it all so seamlessly. What advice do you have for someone who is having a short engagement? Like, how long do you think engagements actually need to be in order to plan a wedding?
This could go two ways. So from a Birch perspective, we're gonna say, you get married, we'll make it happen. Just find a dress. Like literally, as soon as you can
That's
get your
exactly
dress,
what you said to
let's
me.
get married. Like there's no stress in that. Like designing an event, it takes time, but we're gonna spend the same 40, 50 hours designing it now and working through it now as we will in 3 months from now. But in regards to certain things, you have venues which are a lot more difficult, and the dress. The dress is everything. Booking everything else is slightly more simple.
Interesting.
Even invitations, like you can choose your invitation immediately. If you're not overly picky about it, you can make that decision 1, 2, 3, and you can move on. But getting a venue that's not locked up for a date you want, and you did it so well.
Yeah.
You did it so well.
Thanks to Lisa, Paper Parfait,
Yeah.
little angel.
Yeah, your invitations are beautiful.
But like, I just literally saw it online. I sent it to her. I said, "Can you make this?" She came with her suitcase and all these different paper samples. We did this sample, that sample, that sample. I was on your bachelorette. We were at the club at 2 in the morning, and she sent me the proof. And I was like, not 100% sober, and the monogram was upside down because the way the envelope flap closed. And I was like, the monogram is upside down. And she's like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. And I was like, I need to get off my phone right now. But I literally made my invitations in 9 business days, and she made them overseas.
And look at that. I mean, you had a 3-month engagement, right?
Yeah.
We could have shortened it by 4 weeks.
Totally.
I don't know about the dress.
Wow.
Totally.
Okay,
I
another
wouldn't have lost
amazing.
as much weight.
Oh, okay. Well, that's important.
Another great question from Ali. How has it been working with all the Oshry sisters? Who has been
Oh
the
my
easiest
gosh.
decision maker and who has been the hardest in the sense that they take forever to make a decision? And yes, I am going to ask you to pit 2 women against each other and compare and contrast us
Oh
as
boy.
brides because you,
Yay.
at one point, were working with both of us at the same time.
Yes. So, okay, well, you guys are completely different, I guess, in terms of all the Oshry sisters. There's something that you all do have, and I actually complimented each and every one of you on it, is that you guys are very consistent. You have very, very consistent taste, which is really easy to work with because there are a lot of brides that don't. So I would say in that sense, everyone is very definitive about their taste, what they like and what they don't like, which is amazing and makes our job so much easier. To compare you guys, so Olivia's really boss, like hardcore. We're doing this, we're doing it right now. This is a decision, we're gonna make it, and we're gonna make it today. And if you don't answer within the next 60 seconds, I'm gonna make the decision, and then you're gonna tell me that I should change it, and then I'm gonna let you. So
Literally.
it's like 100% boss. And I think, Jackie, you're just a lot more like, let's see the options, let's play with it, a little bit more princess and whimsical, and I want it to be prettier, and it's a lot more of a fairy tale, and Olivia's a lot more of a, I don't know how to compare it.
Like
I want
a
to make it
business.
real, but it's not a business because I don't want to take away from the fact that her wedding was so magnificent and, you know, it was magical, your wedding. So I don't want to take that away from you.
This is such a good example, but so here's the thing. I literally, Zach always says this to me too. He's like, why does everything have to be done right now? And I'm like, because it just does. Like, that's
Right
just
now.
how I am.
It just doesn't.
So
There it
does
is.
not.
At one
Until
point-
it does.
At
Until
one
it does.
point,
Like you
I-
called me yesterday and you're like, I need you to make a
Yeah.
decision on this right now, and it was done in 60 seconds.
You're
Yeah.
100% correct.
But he
yes.
said to me, like, at one point, I was like, when do you need my table list? Because we did, like, 2 long
God.
tables at all at assigned seating, and I was like, can I get it to you Monday? And he was like, honestly, if you could get it to me by, like, Friday, that would be better. He's like, you always expect us to do everything in 60 seconds, so, like, maybe you can, too. And I was like, oh, my God, yes!
You met the deadline.
It was the best
You were
line
so
ever.
right.
It was so funny. I was like, wow, you're right. Okay, I have to do unto others as they have do
I was
unto
taking
me.
tips from Olivia the whole time. I'm like, this is how I need to rule my life. Like now. Everything's right now. And I'm like, okay, fine, boss life, like it.
For
I'm
me,
in.
it's like when I get to a computer and I'm sitting at a desk, maybe I'll answer. So from a design perspective,
Yes.
like when you are doing a wedding, what do you think are really the most important elements, like that you really should invest in?
Okay, memorable moments are probably the most important thing. So people get caught up, in my opinion, on, I don't want to take away from details. Details are very important. They're awesome for your pictures. It really depends on how you're spending your money also. Like, it always comes down to finances.
Right.
So for me, the way that I look at it is you always have to put your money where people will remember it. Sometimes a cocktail hour isn't the best place to invest your money because it's literally 45 minutes. Everyone's crowded into a room. There's high boys, there's cocktails, and there's a bar, and all people care about is drinking.
Right.
So I wouldn't spend money there unless you're doing like that one photo op moment in that space that people can crowd around and take care of.
And I will just touch on that and say that we did not do one element of
Not one.
decor in our cocktail hour.
Yeah.
Literally just the tables, the cloths that they had, and like where we chose to invest was really in the food. And the food, Crystal Plaza, like it was the most
it.
delicious food ever. And people were just like loving the food, just loving talking to people and going to the bar and getting a drink. And like the room itself was obviously gorgeous, and that was part of, you know, doing it at a venue that the space was not a space you transform,
Right.
but we did not spend, there was literally not one flower at the
Nothing.
cocktail hour.
There was zero. And it worked out really well.
Yeah.
So to go back to your questions, just spend your money and spend your efforts and your time on memorable moments.
So for a bride on a budget, where should they cut corners and where should they never cut corners?
Oh, that's a good one. I think never cut corners in the reception. That's the part that people remember the most. I think create as much party, as much wow as possible in that space. And then for your ceremony, sometimes, well, a lot of times you can get away with simple elegance, understated elegance, a little bit more bespoke, a little bit more elegant and clean. And I think people feel like the heavenliness about the ceremony as opposed to just like, well, what's the decor like?
Can I touch upon something
Absolutely.
there? I also think the other really important thing where I would recommend you spend your money is on lighting.
Yes. Oh
Lighting
my gosh, you're so right. Sorry.
transforms a
Yes.
room. I went to a really beautiful wedding not that long ago, like one of Zach's friends, and it was like so beautiful, but like just the lights were on. And I was like, oh my God, like I just wish there was a little bit of like mood lighting in here. And like when I look at the photos from my wedding, like our first dance, like the lighting that
Yeah.
Jimmy did from
He said the
Dynamic Vision,
Yeah,
like
that's
it was
crazy.
there was like roses on the floor, which was kind of, obviously everything was a red rose in the venue, and also my invitation was like a laser cut kind of like rose print, so it all like tied so nicely together. And like, I'm sure you went through lighting with him, but like, I never spoke to him, I never told him what I wanted,
Right.
like, that was all on you, and you were the one that was like, lighting is really important, we need to do this. And I think actually, this is just how good of a guy this guy is, but he lives in Florida, he stayed in New York on New Year's Eve, like just to do the lighting at my wedding, just like, what a great guy, and he did a fantastic job, and the lighting for me was so memorable.
I love that. I love that. I don't even know how I didn't remember that. Shame on me.
It's okay, I got you.
Thank you.
So, Liv, you had predicted that Zach's friends were going to be the most turned at the
Yes.
party. Now, you were there, and Josh, you were there, and you actually might be the best person to ask because you were sober. Who was the most turned?
Well, I was also sober. I did not drink.
What?
I had
No?
one glass of champagne, like
You were in
right
it to
after
win it that day.
I wanted to remember every
I love
moment
that
because
about
it
you.
was so special, and like I was aware of every minute that happened there.
That's a good piece of advice for people.
I would say like turned is so different than like amazingly fun, and like
For sure, because turned is like throwing up,
right, amazingly
I don't think
fun,
anyone
like
was throwing up.
No.
winner of just all around like got the best drunk. I would say was Wine Reb.
I was gonna say the same
He
thing.
was fucking
He was so fun.
amazing.
He was
like
great.
just killed it. It was so
Let's
good.
not take away from Jackie though.
But was
Jackie
he
on it,
Fortniting, though?
No, you
No,
were
but here's the
Fortniting.
thing. The
You were
Fortnite had
killing it. That was
nothing.
crazy.
The Fortniting had
That was
nothing to
crazy.
do with being turned.
Fortniting is the newest thing
In Simpla dancing.
In Simpla dancing. I'm
Jackie.
telling you, it's sweeping.
It
Wait a
is-
second,
world.
can
When
I
she
just tell you
was
something?
doing that,
Oh, I was
I
dying.
was dead. Like it was so great, and like I started to do it, and then Claudia started to do it, and everybody was doing it, and it was like, it was.
That was fantastic.
I can't even. Jackie.
From an outsider's perspective, like we're the phantoms of the party, right? So we're like sitting in the background watching this all happen, living vicariously through your excitement. I swear, when Claudia started dancing, I lost it. Because you guys together, first of all, the crazy like unity that you had, everyone was so into it. Like we were dancing, we're doing the same thing on the side. We're just dying. We're like, let's get in there.
My favorite was that Claudia took the mic from the band
Oh
and
my
pretty
God.
much had it the entire time, and they turned the mic off so that she couldn't sing, but that she could pretend she was singing. I think they turned it on for one song, but
What a
like
great
they
solution.
knew their customer like before it even all started, and
I
it
love
was
that.
so
Band
funny.
was on point too, just saying.
Yeah, band was so on point.
Yeah, really
Around
was.
Town Entertainment, which was so funny because I know one of the questions is, was there anything that I had to forego because I did a short engagement?
Yeah.
And so typically, Claudia had Element Music, Marianne Bennett, as will you. She's amazing, but she was not available. And so I spent most of my time just doing research on the band. And I found Around Town Entertainment, and no one I had known had ever used them. And
Same.
but the videos of them were so amazing, and the guy was like so like on it and great to work with. He's like, we've been in the business for 15 years. Don't worry about anything. And I'm like, all right. And basically, they were the only thing that I was a tad unsure about, just because I did not know anything about them. They had sent a very long list of references that you guys like double checked for
Yeah.
me, but. At the end of the day, like I didn't know any of those references. They weren't personal references, and like they were amazing.
I think we both looked at each other at the wedding and we were just like,
I couldn't believe it.
we were shocked.
They were so good.
We were so
I
happy.
couldn't believe it
Yeah.
because the only like trickiness as it related to the wedding was that we did it on New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
and Russian Tea Room is on 57th Street, which
Yeah.
is predominantly a street that is closed because of the New Year's Eve ball drop. And basically, from the day that I knew that I was getting married there, I was in touch with the NYPD Community Affairs. Hi, I'm having a wedding here.
yeah.
What do I have to do to make sure people can cross and get through? I got a room block for all the people coming in from out of town, like literally next door to the venue. I wanted to make people's lives as easy as possible, knowing that it was New Year's Eve. And so basically, I worked with NYPD and the invitations lady to make an insert that basically said, hi, I'm going to a wedding here. Here's my little passy that lets me go through. And I think the band was having a little bit of trouble understanding that like they couldn't just like come and go as they pleased because
Yeah.
it was New Year's Eve, and it became a little bit of a cringeworthy situation, but it wound up being so fine, and they never closed the street.
Nope, the street was never closed.
They change it
I
up
didn't know
every
that.
year for security precautions.
because like you don't want to like know what's.
But I also think
coming.
I don't know.
because
It
it
was
was
on.
raining,
Yeah, there was
there
nobody
weren't
there.
as many people.
Correct.
So they didn't close the street, and not one person had a problem getting to the wedding. I don't even think
100%.
people needed to use their insert.
I used my insert.
Wow, I'm so glad
Every
for
time
you.
I had to go back and forth to the hotel through the back streets because 56 was closed.
Got it.
So every time we needed
And
to
that
go
was a
behind-
load-in.
That was a load-in, so it was much harder. Like I was there at like 8 in the morning fighting with the security, with the police officer, and the Russian team was there as well. And we're like sitting there like, we have access to the street, like here are the passes. And he's like, I was told by 8 a.m. we're closed. And then they extended to 9:30. And then we're like, can we just get like, there's only one person coming down this block, and it's just anyone for this wedding. Just let us in. It took us a long time, but we got it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the band, when we spoke about this before, songs that, are do not plays at wedding, I'm curious what you think are like the worst wedding songs
gosh.
and also some of the best ones.
No, I can't answer this question. This question is very difficult. Number one, I'm not, believe it or not, so particular with music. Shockingly enough, it's one of those elements that I just don't feel strongly in. I get into it, but I would say like, it depends on your crowd. Like some of our clients, like and some of the brides that we meet are like all about the oldies, and some people are very about what's current, and some people are very about like just playing crazy DJ music at their wedding, and like it varies on your taste. So like I know you ladies are all up about the music, the amount of conversations that they have about music is like wow, like really in a good way because you're into it, which I love. And I mean we've experienced it personally where we've gone and we've heard singers and we've heard stuff which is so fun.
Yeah,
it's a great part of the experience. But like the reality is that.
That's not your forte.
It's not my forte.
Well, you know what is so funny is that at my wedding they played Hey Ya, and when it started, I was like, oh fuck no. I was like, this was like this. I definitely did not say like this song can be played at my wedding. And the thing is that like when you have these songs that like I would never listen to it on Spotify like right now, but at a wedding where everybody knows the words and it's like so familiar, like. I have such a distinct memory of Hey Ya at my wedding being the most lit moment from the dance floor. And like, so I don't think wedding music, like it can't go wrong. Even if they played a song that like I wouldn't want to hear, it's like, if everybody knows the words and it's so overplayed on the radio and whatnot, but at a wedding, it just like, it works. Anything really works.
But doesn't that tie into the whole conversation of trust your vendors?
Yes.
Like you have to be able to work with people that you feel are going to provide the product you're looking for.
That's the number one piece of advice I can give.
That's the number one piece of advice anyone can give.
By the way, and that's the same piece of advice I give for people when they're going on job interviews. It's literally all about how you feel talking to the person.
Correct.
It's not about your skill set because at the end of the day, like anybody can learn, anybody can make, anybody can do. It's like how do you jive with that person? That is it. If you like from the second you meet them have like a weird contentious relationship, like you feel awkward or you're afraid to ask them for something, I literally just run for the hills. It actually happened to me with my makeup because I got referred to a makeup girl. We were supposed to do a trial. She literally canceled on me 3 times. She kept saying she was coming, and then she was in traffic, and she couldn't, blah, blah, blah. I had really wanted Priscilla, who does all the housewives, to do my makeup. And I was kind of at my wit's end with this lady who kept canceling on me, and I was like, I just get a really bad vibe from this. Like, I don't know. And I had texted Priscilla, like, the 3rd time this woman canceled, and she was like, I'm available. And I was like, oh, my God. Done. Goodbye. Didn't do a trial, didn't do anything, just like trusted it and went with it.
That's the best piece of advice you can give anybody. I don't know if it's one of the questions, but like if I had to, turn to any person who's getting engaged or getting married and say, what's your best piece of advice? It would be you have to work with people that you trust. Because at the end of the day, every contract reads the same. I'm going to come and do your face and makeup, right? Or I'm going to give you a short rib, or I'm going to give you a bowl of white flowers. Well, a bowl of white roses. Well, my bowl of white roses, and we could actually speak about this regarding the rose concept, right? Your proposal said a table full of red roses. You didn't know how it was going to be made exactly. You didn't know how many I was going to put. It's a conversation. Like every proposal could read exactly the same. A table of red roses and candles. How many? Are you doing 500? Are you doing 100? Are you doing 50? It's the same wording. But in my mind, I edit it one way, and in the next company's mind, they edit it a completely different way. So you have to trust the editing and the product that the person's going to give out, just like music.
We can literally share this. He sent me a PDF. It was 2 slides, and it said chuppah. Branches, white, lights, big, or something like that.
With a picture.
Reception. With a picture from Google, though. And then reception. Long tables, red flowers, candles.
Another inspiration picture.
Inspiration picture. And that's it. There was literally nothing else. And that's why I was I knew the wedding was going to be gorgeous, and like I just trusted you, but like when I saw it, I couldn't believe it was my wedding. Like it was 10 times more beautiful than I even thought it was going to be. Like I had high expectations. I set the bar high for myself. I set the bar high for people that I work with. I set the bar high when I'm spending money on anything, but like, oh my God. And the fact that you guys captured my face every time that elevator door opened, like,
favorite moments of the day. elevator
I
opening,
literally-
Olivia going like this.
I couldn't believe I'm just
This
doing
is
that
it.
right now.
This is it. It's
I
right
couldn't
there.
believe it. And even Zach, Mr. Allergic to flowers,
Yeah.
wanted no flowers at
Yeah.
the wedding. Like
Yeah.
he kept saying the whole time, he's like, you know, like a wedding is really for the bride. It's really for the bride. You know, he wasn't involved in the wedding planning
Men like it
process.
too.
And it was so
Totally.
funny because after the wedding, he texted his friend and he said, a piece of advice. The wedding is for you too. And he said,
I
as
love
he was
that.
walking down the aisle, he realized that it was as much for him as it was for me. And he was like so overjoyed about all of it. And that was like so special to me because the whole time I kept saying, I'm like, this is for us. And he just kept saying, like, I just want to get married on the side of the road. And I'm like, yeah, but when we get married on the side of the road, what road is it going to be? And what are you going to wear? And who from our families are going to be there? And how are people going to stand? And what's the rabbi going to do? I mean, like, even if you get married on the side of the road, or you get married at Russian Tea Room, like, there's things to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like, I was always doing things because I like to do things. I mean, the second the wedding ended, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I started making, like, spreadsheets of all the gifts people got me and, you know, tracking when the thank yous were coming and my registry about... I have to always be doing stuff. And he always kept saying, like, why are you tinkering with this? Why are you tinkering with that? And I'm like, go away. Like, this is what I do. But then when we got there and he felt it so much too. And, like, that, I think, was one of the most special parts for me, especially when he said that. He walked down the aisle and he's like, this is just as much for me as it is for her.
I love that. And he texted us the next day also.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy.
He's the sweetest
Love
little
him.
angel.
We love you, Zach.
So cute. Question for you. We have some people who are interested. Birch Events obviously does incredible things. And are you hiring? And what's the best way to go about getting a job at Birch?
Wowie. First of all, we're always looking for cool, fun, young people. Always. My hiring process is very different than most people's. I don't necessarily hire for talent. I hire based on personality. If you didn't get a job, I mean, it doesn't mean I didn't like you. Maybe the position wasn't available. I'm just saying. But the reality, I just don't want anyone to think like I hated them. But the reality.
But he did.
By the way, the
He
reality.
didn't hate you. He just didn't like you.
I just didn't get along with you. No, I'm
He
kidding.
just didn't want to be around you every day.
That's what it is. This becomes a family. So, like, you have to really get along with people. I mean, I don't know why any of the people that work with me. I'm, like, shocked. They're, like, not my blood, and they still put up with me. But the reality is that I like when people come in. Most of my team has interned by me for a substantial amount of time with no pay to experience the process. And the reason why I do that is strictly because I don't believe a lot of the people that want to go into this industry can really handle it.
Yeah.
It's a very hard business. It's a very driven business. It's something that you have to always be emotionally prepared for because brides get crazy. It's just a matter of it. The grooms get crazy. The parents get crazy, all for different reasons. Some are financial, some because they don't love the design, some because they can't envision. And you have to be able to capture all that, coddle it, deal with it, and still deal with the details of preparing for a wedding at the same time.
Yeah.
And a boss like me.
Can I also say
Yeah.
that that's so true? And Sarah, who works for you.
Love Sarah.
On the day of my wedding, she was like the person on the band because she knew that the band was the only thing that was a little pit worthy. And we did our first look in the rain. And when I came, we were touching up. And she's like, I used to do hair. Let me help you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you used to work in music. You used to do hair. Like, what don't you do? But like now you do events. And it's
Yeah.
like, to your point, you're not hiring based on skill set, you're hiring based on personality. Oh, and she just happens to be like a triple threat and can literally do everything.
It's what you get. Like, the reality is when Sarah came on board, she did the same thing everyone else does. She interned by me forever. She had everyone in the country call me to like make sure I hired her afterwards, which was really harassing, but it worked. Clearly, she's really into it. So like, she was able to do a bunch of things, and she was also kind of within the industry. She knew what it was like to deal with service. We are in the service business. It's just what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we are, besides the beauty, there's so many companies that create beauty and all beautiful things, but like the one thing that changes Birch a little bit is that our experience is slightly better.
Yes.
I like that.
And can I just also add to that? I did not have a wedding planner.
Right.
Like it was just me and Birch. And we, from the very beginning, when I met with Josh, I was like, do I need a day of person? And he's like, no. He's like, my team will help you do all of it and do decor. And honestly, best decision I ever made. Not to say that you shouldn't have a wedding planner. You should definitely have a day of person. But Birch served as day of and as decor for me.
For sure, but from everything you've said, you were your wedding planner.
Oh,
Exactly,
100%.
that's what I'm saying.
100%.
So it's,
I wouldn't typically say for everyone to do that. It happens to be, one, we know the family so well.
Right.
And we went through this already with Claudia. So like we knew what to expect going into it. Also, it was an intimate wedding.
I had
Yeah.
115 people,
So
and
for
let
us,
me tell you, while I was there at my wedding, it felt like there were 300 people
no,
there.
it really did. It
I
felt
couldn't believe,
really big.
100 felt so big. It was
Also
insane.
really
but
small at the same time because everyone was so in love with each other.
Yeah.
You don't understand what it was like on the outside to looking at you guys. It was such a warm wedding.
Oh, what a great way to have your wedding described. Okay, so I have one more question. We
Sure.
have some more photos that we're going to pull up on the stream. And regarding photos and design,
Yeah.
and we asked Anthony Vasquez the same question because I just think it's so interesting. But has Instagram changed, and this whole, photo culture, has it changed the way that you design weddings, and has it shifted the focus of certain things because you know that, this is the Instagram moment? Like, do you have Instagram in the back of your mind when designing a wedding? I mean, obviously you crush Instagram. At Birch Event Design has the most gorgina Instagram.
Totally.
The photos that are
Love
coming
that.
up on the stream now are just so beautiful.
Thanks.
They capture the essence of the design and the couple. And I just am curious what your Instagram strategy is, because obviously social media hashtags are a huge part of weddings.
Correct. So, yes. The answer is yes. Instagram has changed everything. Social media has changed everything, but it also really adds just a lot of stress. Anyone who's in the design world knows this. It's because almost like what fashion used to be. I mean, fashion now is even faster than it ever was, right? But they always have to be ahead of trend.
Right.
So like I'm designing a wedding today, and it's I don't know, purple, and it's going to be the most unique purple wedding anyone's ever seen because I'm going 100% purple. And then like a day later, someone in Istanbul creates a purple wedding just because purple there is more common, and they created like this incredible wedding from it, and now it's everywhere. It's viral. Everyone's going crazy about this purple wedding. My wedding's in a week. Like, now what? Am I the copycat? I've been planning this for 6 months. Like,
Right.
So it's like it's a little bit stressful when you go online every night. Like you go online on Instagram, you're looking at everyone's work, all these amazing designers, and you're like, please don't have what I'm thinking in my head today, because we're all sort of like inspired by the same things, whether it's fashion or architecture or just design in general, or just being outside and seeing one thing that's beautiful and you transform it. Like, yeah, the trends, sort of shift you in a certain way, but we always have in the back of our head, what is Instagram going to love? And the pictures are really everything.
Yeah.
We sit back before anything's done on an event, and literally Alan is like sitting there like taking a picture of it and saying, will this photograph well? And that's all he cares about. So what will it photograph well?
Yeah.
So yes, 100% yes. Instagram has shifted the way that we think, the way that we design. We're looking for those moments where guests can take pictures in front of, and everyone wants it because everyone wants that moment that's like, this was my wedding, and it was the most beautiful picture. And that's why Birch actually got known for the bathroom thing. There's like a new shtick. Like, we love it. I love going crazy in bathrooms on Floral because everyone wants a bathroom selfie.
That's so true.
Don't copy me. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, but now if you see it, you'll know they copied Birch. But that is so true. I'm always taking like a mirror pic in
Everyone
the
does.
bathroom if there's a little something.
For me, that's everything, because I feel like every woman and every guy goes to the bathroom and just like, if there's a bathroom overflowing with flowers, you're like, holy crap, what
But
is
then
this?
you don't have to have a photo booth, right? Like, I didn't have a photo booth,
That's
and I
true.
did not feel like I missed it whatsoever.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't have a photo
No,
booth. That
because
is so
like,
interesting.
any photo that anybody took in the space was like beautiful and gorgeous, and was like it served as its own photo booth.
But not everyone has the luck of having such an intimate space that was fully mirrored. So everywhere you
Oh my
look,
God,
it was
yeah.
like you saw
No, but I'm
billions
saying
of
in
candles.
the
It was
bathroom
crazy.
or at the table, or these like experience
100%.
moments. Like what I loved about my wedding was so many people posted photos under the chuppah after we left. Like
Yeah.
there was literally a line to take a picture under the chuppah as if it was like a flower wall.
Can we discuss the stress of that though? Because I had to turn over a room in
No,
less
no,
than
I
an
know.
hour.
Right.
And like all your guests are waiting online to take pictures on this ceremony, and I'm like, guys, okay.
Oh my God, that is so
And I'm like
stressful.
sitting back and I'm breathing. I'm like, and I was just like, Olivia will kill me if we go 1 minute over 9:20. It's not gonna work. We went 9 minutes over 9:20, but whatever. It
No,
worked
it's
out
fine
really
because
well.
people love the food so much that they like didn't even care.
The cocktail hour seemed to be
Oh
very
my God, the
successful.
food
Yeah.
was so good.
So
I
good.
ate so much. My dress
So
was so
much.
tight, and I
You looked fantastic.
But like once I walked down the aisle, I was like, I don't care if I have a little gut, like whatever.
Totally. Can
didn't
I
matter
ask
anymore.
you a question?
Sure. But wait, I just emailed a picture that we're going to add to the stream. It's like probably a picture that really captures the essence of the night perfectly. Jake, I just sent it to you, so I'll give you a minute. And you can ask me something, and then we'll post it. And that is just a great way to end the show. But
Fantastic. Well, I feel like, my bridal time is coming to an end. We're on to Miss Jackie O. So, like, what can we expect from you? I mean,
Oh my
we're
gosh.
obviously going to do, like, so many different episodes and whatnots, but your invites just went out.
my invites just went out. They're honestly,
Gorgeous.
I'm not going to lie, they're stunning.
They're stunning.
They're Taking the World by Stormy Webster. And I did it all myself, like in my own head. You know what I mean? Like of thinking of it, like, so I just want all the credit.
Yep.
You deserve it. Let me tell you something. I've seen a lot of brides do invitations, and they're not great. I mean, okay, but okay. So
No names.
Well,
no
I
names.
did it all in my, like I had this idea
You
in
did
my
such a
head,
good job.
and I worked with Buy Invitations who they were able to execute it so perfectly.
Totally.
And I was just so happy with it. And I know, like,
Yeah.
Josh was so skeptical
was
about, like, when I
scared.
told him what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I put on my big fake happy face, like, yay, that's gonna be great. And I'm like, we'll wait for her to develop the process more, and then we'll tell her that it's not a good idea. But you developed it, and you developed it
Beautifully.
flawless.
I
No,
mean,
flawlessly.
it's insane.
It was so pretty. And when you showed it to us in the office, we opened it up. We're just like, this is what you were thinking done right. I don't want to give away too much, even though I know you guys have been showing it on social, but
A little bit.
You did it right.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It was really correct.
Thank
Well
you very
done.
much. So and it definitely helped us because,
Yeah.
like I reported this week, Zach and I were going to wedding design therapy because we couldn't agree on a color, like
Right.
an issue that exists everywhere in our
Yeah.
lives. But we had to finally choose something, so we sat down with you guys. The invitation helped steer us in a direction,
Yes.
and I'm just like so excited about what we
You
have
have no
planned.
idea.
And it's
It's gonna be
actually
amazing.
what our first idea was. We got off track for like one reason or another. But now we're back to the
Yeah.
original idea, and I just think it'll be so perfect for the venue, for the time of year, and for us as a couple because it's not going to be super feminine or super masculine.
It's very you guys, which I'm very excited to translate. It's going to be a fun translation of a couple into,
I'm very excited.
an epic wedding.
Yeah,
Epic.
Epic's the word.
If you like, I think we're totally opposite brides because you're like on top of everything, stress free. Like you live for the to do list.
Yeah.
And for me, like everything stresses me out. So like, I'm just so excited for it to be here. Like not for it to be over, for my wedding to be here. I'm excited for my wedding day. I'm gonna be the most relaxed bride. Like if anything goes wrong, like I do not give a shit, like a shred of a shit,
But, like,
because
the
there's
thing-
nothing. Because I don't stress about stuff that I can't
Control.
Right.
change.
The things that go
Together.
wrong, it's like that's part of the process. Like that was meant to go wrong, and the XYZ was meant to happen. And it's like you can't even think about it as a thing to go wrong. But I think I just realized what's so different about me and you. You are so like you're very fashionable and stylish, and like I feel like from the design perspective, like you have so much more of a say of what you want. And like for me, I'm like, okay, what do you think is
Yeah.
best? And then like to your point of like just do the to-do list, like I'll do the details and you do the big stuff, and you're all about the big stuff in
Yeah.
And I
terms of
hate
like
the details.
It's very
Right.
funny, yes. That's,
Yeah.
that's where you guys differ so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this has been incredible. We have one more photo to show you. It's a picture that was taken at 12 o'clock midnight at Olivia's wedding. So if you look around, like everyone is kissing, just being so cute, and it just perfectly sums up like the vibe of the evening and
Yeah.
the mood and the beauty of a New Year's wedding done by Birch Event Design.
And this is the essence of that. I said, I want New Year's to be crazy. Can we do confetti? And they were like, we got it. Like, I did not know the specifics of like what the, what's the stuff, like the glasses and the hats and the confetti,
the
like
stuff
all the
they just
stuff.
started
I didn't
throwing out
really know
everywhere.
anything. I was just like, I want a moment at New Year's. And they said, great, done. And that was like, I feel like for you, you would like plan the like essence of the colors and the experience to a T. And I was just like, well, at 11:59, who's lining up where?
Yeah, that's all she
but
cared
like
about.
not what
Yeah.
are you lining
Where
up
are
with,
you
just like
standing?
where are you standing?
Yeah.
Like
Got
that's
it.
that's where I'm like
Question
nuts.
of the year.
But I was just like, I want a big moment. Take that and run with it.
Love it.
Well, you guys made so many big moments. Thank you, Josh,
you.
for
Thank you for
everything you
having
do
me.
to help us. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for
my
explaining to the
pleasure.
toasters. Where can everyone follow you and the amazing work that you and your company do?
So you could follow us at Birch Event Design, and on our website also at birchevents.com. But Birch Event Design's updated like daily.
Yeah,
As
no, it's
happening.
premium
You do a great
content
job.
for
And
those.
you can just see us just going like this all day.
Oh yeah.
Not us, it's just you.
And
Our
Liv,
core team.
per usual, have you changed your handle yet? Is there any place we should follow you?
I haven't changed my handle yet, and I'm debating on what to do with the whole name changing process and just
I
like
think
what
your handle should be Olivia Osh Shapiro.
Well, I have that reserved. So
I think you should make the move.
It could potentially be changing soon, but for
Definitive,
right
I
now,
like
at Olivia Oshry, nothing like upcoming is going to be that significant other than my workout. So like, I just feel like people should patiently wait until your wedding and just like all the photos, all the flow that will roll out from there, because I can only venture to guess how good the photos will be for Flo.
I'm really focused on my flow, and I've said it so many times to Josh, like, the flow, when you click the hashtag, like, I want the flow to be poppin'. Like, I want to send everyone a preset that they need to use
I was going to say, are
beforehand.
you sending a preset to Anthony Vasquez?
No, but I literally, or like if my friends are taking pictures, like I want to be like, oh, just airdrop that to me. I'll just edit it for you real quick. Because sometimes the way people edit photos, like,
it's scary.
is wild, like
Yeah.
horrific.
What about instead of a photo booth, you have like an editing booth where people like
That's
go and send their
genius, by the
photos,
way. I
and like
love that.
people just like edit on the spot, and then they get a
Right.
very
Sarah,
you
write
could have
that
someone
down.
from Do It for
Like,
the
they
Toast
so good.
come.
Oh my God, I
and
need
they
to hire
come.
someone from Do It for the Post. Like someone emails their photo and they get it sent back like the way that it should be before
love
they
that,
in
by the way.
the theme of
That's
the wedding.
genius, by the way.
Or they just join Do It for the Toast. They post it to the group. They make it in premium, and then they
The
get
only
it.
problem with that is that when you upload it to Facebook, it's not as high res. So the email aspect, I think, or AirDrop, like just get another phone that like someone sends a photo.
No,
send
so
it right
This
back.
just got super complicated.
super complicated. The details that I
sort out
don't
the
want to worry
details.
about.
Sort out the
I'll take it
details.
on for you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you all for tuning in to the longest show ever. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. I have to go take care of my nephew's snee chest. Thank you guys both so
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations on just a wonderful wedding and a job well done. We will see you all on Monday, back with Claudia.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.